Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. My name is Jim Codney. I'm National Sales Director here at Western Marketing. Today, we've got a treat. We've got Jason Gilstrap. He's an internal wholesaler with Transamerica to talk about their final expense. Now, as some of you may know, GoToWebinar takes just a minute to hop on. So I'm going to give about 30 seconds before we rock and roll with this. So if you need to go grab that quick cup of coffee or something, now's the time to do that. But I respect your time. So give us about 30 seconds for a few more people to hop on and we will get rocking and rolling. Thank you. All right, everyone. Again, thank you for all of you who have attended this webinar. My name is Jim Codney. I'm National Sales Director with Western Marketing. We are really excited to have our friends from Transamerica talk about their final expense product today. Before I introduce our presenter, just a quick housekeeping rule. We are here for you. Without you, the webinar doesn't matter. I can talk to Transamerica on the phone. We don't need training. You are the reason we're here. And with that, if you have questions, we definitely want to answer any question we can. So please put questions in the question box in the GoToWebinar. We will typically answer those at the end of the webinar for you. And with that, without further ado, I do want to introduce Jason Gilstrap. He's internal wholesaler with Transamerica. Jason, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here, and thank you guys for your time today. I do appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to go over our final expense product, and hopefully we can leave you with some valuable information.
Yep. So Jason, take it away. The floor is yours. We appreciate you being here today, and obviously our friends at Transamerica and the support you guys give us and our agents. So we're looking forward to the webinar. I'll yield to you and look forward to hearing it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate the introduction. Once again, my name is Jason Gilstrap. I am an internal wholesaler with Transamerica, so I work on the sales desk. So for any of you that do call in for sales support, there are 13 of us, but I am one of the 2 internals that is assigned specifically to assist Western Marketing. And then normally on these webinars, you have our external rep, we call them regional vice presidents, but normally it's Jeremiah Tacker, who is also a great resource for you guys to reach out to. And you'll see a slide here shortly with our contact information. So if you ever need to get in touch with us, we are available. So with that, I just kind of want to go over what we'll kind of cover in this seminar. Transamerica's obviously commitment to you as agents, some product overview, kind of where, we try to position ourselves and our product and how we can best, help your clients. We've made some changes and we streamlined our process. I'll go into that and through our iGo e-app and policy delivery updates that we did. Some underwriting guidelines that you should find very exciting that do set us apart from other carriers. And then we'll just do a couple quick scenarios. There's 4 different case scenarios. We probably won't go into all those. I want to be respectful of your time today. And then what you can expect as far as like underwriting decisions and some other important information. So with that, just a quick overview of just our leadership team here. We have Will Fuller, who's the CEO of Transamerica, North America. Jamie Ohl, she's over our individual solutions. So she oversees a lot of our annuities and life and mutual funds. And then Dave Curry is the head of our distribution with Wendy and Andy kind of underneath him. And then Kim King is somebody that really is developing our our agent and customer relations systems right now. With increased underwriting, we've started case management, and she's kind of head of all of that. And then Andy Vigar is our new head of underwriting. He's been with us for just over a year, and he also has really worked on helping to streamline the process and speed up underwriting, and with more digital solutions and digital underwriting, to cut down on that underwriting time. So. So here is like contact information for myself and Jeremiah. So like I said, Jeremiah is your regional vice president. He oversees our Heartland region, and his phone number there, 319-721-4212. That is his cell phone, so you can pretty much reach him almost any time. If you ever go to webinar, or like I said, he's on most webinars, but if he goes to like marketing events, things like that, and we have a booth, he's generally the guy that would be the external person that you would see. Or if somebody pops into your offices, he would be the guy that you'd see. And then myself and James were equals here, and you can call us for any questions about product or underwriting, or if you're struggling with e-app issues, we can guide you through all that, and as well as working through like your agent portals. I know a lot of newer agents, you're still trying to navigate the agent portal on our quoting software. We can also walk you through all of that. So so now we'll get into a quick product overview. So when you're in our quoting systems, or you're presenting, we essentially have 3 final expense products. Immediate solutions is 98% of probably what you're going to run as an agent. This, you can see the issue ages here. So it's ages 0 to 85. That 0 is 15 days old. So from 15 days old up to the age of 85. Minimum face amounts of 1,000, maximum 50,000. The 10-pay solution is essentially the same product, except you're paying for 10 years. So you're trying to fully fund a final expense product in 10 years. Obviously, it makes the premiums a little higher because you are paying it faster. One thing that I do want to say about face amounts, so they are age driven. So that 0 to 55-year-old range is minimum 50, minimum 1,000, maximum 50,000. The age 56 to 65 drops to 40,000. 66 to 75 drops to 30,000, and 76 to 85 drops to 25,000. If they are graded, which would be our easy solution product, so if somebody who's actually ended up being graded, the maximum face amount is 25,000 regardless of age, and we only offer it in that 18 to 80 range, so it's not available on juveniles. Obviously, policy loans available across all products. Full death benefit day one on the immediate solution and the 10-pay. So, if they died 2 days into coverage, they're completely covered. The graded death benefit works very similar to most other carriers, that it is, you don't have full access to the death benefit for 2 years, but any premiums that were paid in get returned to the beneficiary at 110%. But in that start of that 25th month, that full death benefit does kick in. So it doesn't like grade up to a point, it's just that you get full death benefit on that 25th month. Additional benefits, we do have the accelerated death benefit rider, which with nursing home benefits. So if client ends up in a nursing home, they can accelerate the death benefit to help cover some of those expenses. And then terminal illness, if they are diagnosed that they might pass within the next 12 months, they can also pull up to 100% of their death benefit early. Optional riders, accidental death benefit. So in the event of an accident, it actually doubles the death benefit. So if you have a $50,000 death benefit, it would be $100,000 in total death benefit paid out in the event of an accident. And then child and grandchild benefit rider. So here we've got, you can do up to 9 children and grandchildren total. It's when you're quoting it, you'll see it as units. So 1 to 5 units, each unit is $1,000. So max benefit would be $5,000, but you can convert those child riders or grandchild rider to a permanent policy at 5 times the amount for a minimum face amount of $25,000. So that you can convert that into a whole life product later if you choose. So let's see, we'll go next here. So here you can see kind of where we stack up against other carriers. The big thing, like you'll see, is age. We, us going, offering juvenile policies and offering all the way down to 15 days old. Earliest other carriers, age 40, most of the time mid 40s before they'll even offer, final expense coverage. Face amounts as low as $1,000. Obviously, maximum insurance amount $50,000. Not all other carriers offer multiple risk classes. So on our immediate solution and our 10-pay, there's preferred or standard, and I'll get into the advantages of that later. But it's non-tobacco or tobacco. Most other carriers either get just kind of a standard rating or they move to graded. The graded death benefit, which I went over, some other carriers offer modified, but we just offer the graded death benefit. So accelerated death benefit for nursing home, yes, most other carriers don't offer that. So optional rider with grandchildren, like I said, we cover up to 9 kids. Big advantage that other carriers are coming on board with, we've had it for a while, but you can do direct express Social Security billing, which is pretty convenient in the sense that most insured are in their retirement age. Like 30% of people who get final expense policies are already in their retirement age, and they're probably already drawing on that Social Security benefit. So, we make it, quick and easy for them to offer that as a recurring payment option. And we also offer credit card billing as well for recurring payments, but just Visa and MasterCard on that. Underwriting, well, this is one of the moves we did change in the last few months, but we went to real-time decision. So once you're submitted, you should know within 15 to 20 minutes if your client is approved and at what risk class. So now I'll just get into a little bit to the streamlined process that we made some changes to. We used to have a very long application process. We had kind of probably one of the longer apps in the industry. We cut that app in half, simplified a lot of the medical questions, and there's a knockout question at the beginning of the process, which we'll get into here in a little bit. So like I said, we're trying to go to real-time decisions. You'll know right away we've moved to a fully digital application with e-signing. So you'll get an email notification for your signature portion, and the client will get one as well. One of the changes that we could be making here in the next 3 to 4 months is we text to sign, which also will make things much faster. And then policy e-delivery is available for clients who wish to receive that. So the past way, it's not really our current way, our new way is the current way. But so in the past, we had limited cases that were available for real-time decisions. We had underwriters looking at more and more cases, less automation. And so we've moved to more of an automated process. We had much longer, lengthy, kind of intrusive health questions. Like if anybody has been with us, well, you'll know that application was quite long and intrusive. So we did expand the use of digital medical data, with the use of MIB and prescription checks to increase those real-time decisions. Underwriting reviews, like I said, now they're mostly focused on non-medical risk, making sure there's insurable interest for all parties, total coverage makes sense, immigration status issues, so, and then the much shorter, more client-friendly health questions. Excuse me here. And then, so digital applications. So there used to be, like I said, just a lot more medical questions, but now there's just one personal history section. This will, this is kind of your knockout question when you'll see it on an upcoming slide. But it's a slide that lists a bunch of conditions. If you answer yes on any of those, you'll know not to proceed. We've reduced to 40 less input fields, that one front eligibility question, and then just really 15 health and personal history questions. And then we also added a activity question, which I will also get into. And then obviously we went from just print and mail delivery only to electronic delivery for faster coverage and policy placement. So the iGo eApp updates. So we'll kind of see some screenshots here. So here you'll see kind of that knockout question. So Alzheimer's disease, any type of dementia, organic brain syndrome, cognitive impairment, memory loss, mental incapacity, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease, or other motor neuron diseases, amputation other than due to accident or trauma, metastatic recurrent cancer or multiple cancers, or cancer any type other than basal cell or skin within the last 2 years, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, pulmonary fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, currently bedridden, residing in a nursing home or assisted living care facility, or receiving hospice, palliative, or home health care. So if you answer yes here, then you're pretty much done on those particular issues. Which that wasn't really clear on our previous process. So here you can see kind of just the medical questions that we do ask. So medical treatment questions, drug use, driving history if they have, DWI, OWI, DUI in the past, felony convictions. These aren't knockout questions, but they do determine risk class. Then we have height and weight. Here you just have a section of just specific things: heart disease, congestive heart failure, and you can see all of these, and you have access, and I'll go over that here in a minute. You do have access to our paper application, and so you can see these, so you're kind of prepared for the questions ahead of time, so you're not trying to do it live on the e-app in front of a client. But one of the important questions here is we have this: in a typical week, do you perform any intentional physical activities such as yard work, walking, exercising, or playing sports for at least 10 consecutive minutes? So this is our activity question. And activity is not just limited to, if they take their dog on a walk, I mean, as long as they're up trying to be physically active, there are certain medical conditions that we rate as standard that would, if they can qualify on this activity credit, you can actually move to a preferred risk class. And there are some instances where if the client is graded, that they could actually move from graded to a standard risk class and get day one coverage. And so I'll kind of go over what some of those are here in a minute. But so other part of the e-app that you'll see, if you want to consent to e-delivery, just make sure you're checking yes in both: do you consent and do you prefer to receive your documents electronically? And then you'll have to click the e-delivery terms and conditions of use and to proceed through that. It is, and like I said, you'll get the email notifications, and the owner of the policy will also get them. And if the owner is other than the insured will also get email notification on things that they need to sign as well. So cases that are not available for e-delivery. So New York is always paper app. Unfortunately, you can't even do the e-app. Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, non-person owner groups. So like if a church or a trust owns the policy or multiple owners, also not available for e-delivery. Insured owner or payer is not a US citizen or resident. Insured is a juvenile. Insured owner or payer email address is missing. So we do need, obviously, email addresses to proceed on e-delivery. And then insured owner or payer social security number is missing. Sometimes there's outstanding delivery requirements that, if you miss something, like if you did submit a paper app, if there's outstanding delivery requirements that we might need, or if there was, if you had to make a change afterwards, if we have to wait on a paper form or something, that sometimes can delay e-delivery. So not sure how much you guys deal with case management, but most of the time it's just you're putting your first and last name on your agent report, any notes you might have for underwriting on a specific case. If you guys do have case managers, you can put their email so that they get notified anytime any kind of case updates or additional information is required. There's a space for that within the e-app. So e-delivery notifications are sent to the policy owner and agent listed. So like I said, you both get them. You get the link via email. All those actions have to be completed within 20 days. If they're not, then they get mailed to the client. So and you can't ask for that link again. So like if you're on the 21st day and you say, hey, can you resend that link? We cannot resend that link for the e-delivery. So at that point, it does have to go out for paper delivery. The first time you do receive an e-delivery notification, so if you haven't used our system in the past and you submit a policy with us, you will be asked to create a DocFast account for e-signature, and then you should only have to do that once, and then it'll be there moving forward, also streamlining the process. So this is kind of the part I'm excited about. This is where we made some big changes to our underwriting. So here's some things that somebody could get preferred risk class for. So aneurysms, bipolar schizophrenia, blood clots, chronic pain disorders, circulatory disorders, Crohn's disease, which is a big one that we see a lot of, epilepsy, lupus, ulcerative colitis is something we see a lot of, wheelchair or paralysis. That could be preferred, but a lot of times it has to do for the reasons that they could be in the wheelchair. Next here, so anemia, as you can see, was graded under our old status. Now it's still graded, but with that activity credit, you can get to standard. Asthma, standard now preferred. With activity credit, bronchitis, you can get to preferred. Heart disease is preferred. Just in general, the activity credit doesn't apply there, but you can get preferred. Heart failure, congestive or diastolic, so standard on that. Congestive heart failure, also, just so you know, is standard. Hospitalization within the last 12 months, standard with activity credit, preferred. Liver disease with cirrhosis, standard. Respiratory disease, COPD now you can get with the activity credit, preferred. TIA, so stroke or transient ischemic attacks with activity credit, preferred. Supplemental oxygen use, you can get all the way to preferred. Another one that's not listed here, somebody on dialysis could get standard with us. It doesn't qualify for the activity credit, but somebody on dialysis is standard with us with day one coverage. So a lot of these particular things would either get you graded or declined at a lot of carriers. And with us, they could potentially not only get day one coverage, they could get preferred coverage at a much better rate on day one. So just some kind of general guidelines. I'm just going to read this verbatim. At the end, I can probably put a link in the chat to the underwriting guide so that you have this, and this is in the underwriting guide. But the proposed insured will most likely be preferred if their medical conditions, lifestyle factors, and height and weight are all preferred. The proposed insured will most likely be standard if all their medical conditions are preferred and all lifestyle factors and height weight are standard, or they have one medical condition that's rated standard, height weight are preferred, and all lifestyle factors are preferred or standard. Graded, so the proposed insured will be likely graded if they have one medical condition that is rated graded, height and weight are standard or preferred, or all lifestyle factors are graded or better, or they have two medical conditions that are standard, height, weight are standard or preferred, and all lifestyle factors are graded or better, or all their lifestyle factors and height, weight are graded, and all medical conditions, if any, are preferred. And then proposed insured will most likely be declined if they have one medical condition or lifestyle factor that is rated as a decline, or their height weight is rated as a decline, or they have 4 or more medical conditions that are either standard or graded. So if they had like COPD, diabetes, congestive heart failure, that you start piling a lot of those up, chances are they're going to be declined. You can have like 1 or 2 of them, but multiple, when you get to that 4, it's they're generally going to be a decline. So once again, this is that activity credit. So you can see here, include walking the dog, gardening, mowing the yard, other jobs requiring manual labor, jogging, running, typical exercise and weight things, 3 days a week for at least 10 consecutive minutes each time. And then here we have a couple scenarios. Proposed insured's height weight is preferred, and they have only one of the following medical conditions, respiratory diseases or disorders such as COPD, black lung or chronic bronchitis, stroke or transient heart attack, hospitalization in the last 12 months. Rating would improve from standard to preferred with that particular condition. Scenario 2, the proposed insured height weight is the only risk factor, in which we have really, and you'll see, like I said, I'll put the underwriting guide in, but we have really high height and weight guides. So you can be pretty overweight and still qualify standard and graded. But yeah, so proposed insured is male, 5'6", 250 pounds, no health conditions or other risk factors, exercises at least 3 days a week, 10 minutes a day, improves from standard to preferred. So here we have some case designs. We're kind of running short on time here, so we'll kind of just breeze through a couple of these, but Michael, age 45, lives in Florida, build 5'11", 200 pounds, takes Humira for Crohn's disease, lisinopril for high blood pressure, tramadol for chronic pain, and citalopram for depression. History of reckless driving identified over 5 years ago. Doesn't have any other activities that are impacting. All of his medical conditions, lifestyle factors, and high weight are all preferred. So in this case, $30,000 death benefit, monthly base premium of $75.58. She's doing an accelerated death benefit of on that with a total premium of $82.51. And once again, this is the immediate solutions product. So here we have a couple more. Like I said, these are all in our underwriting guide. So we'll kind of go past this a little bit. Underwriting decision emails. So when you submit to us and we received everything and all the signatures have taken place by you and the client, you're going to get one of 4 emails back from Transamerica. The first one, and the one that you want, is decision approved as applied. So the risk class that you submitted on, the payment you submitted on, everything's fine, and they're ready to move forward. Decision approved other than applied. Now this can go either way. This can go up and down. So if you submit it standard and we come back a preferred, you'll also get this email, but vice versa. If you submit it preferred, we could also reduce it to standard. And like this is probably the most common email. Agents are pretty good about just putting everything in its standard, and we've, with that activity credit, a lot of clients qualifying for preferred, and so it seems to be working more in the agent's favor in most cases, but like I said, it can go either direction. The other 2 emails you might get, referred to underwriter. So there was some kind of red flag or something that we saw that we couldn't just move forward with the digital approval, and so an underwriter is going to get involved just to look at something, at which point you'll get a secondary email with what they decided later. And then obviously the one that you don't want to see is declined. And so those are the 4 that you would see from us. If your client, wants to question something that we saw on the MIB report, they do have access to that. The client can make those requests, and you can see the phone number, mail, and email address listed there. So one of the other things is just we're trying to be competitive, obviously, with our rates. why we are super flexible with medical conditions that we will take, and how we're really flexible on with most people's medical conditions. We also are trying to be competitive on price. So, in this particular scenario here, you've got a male and a female, age 55, $15,000 face amount, and you can see kind of the comparative pricing situations here, and then also at age 65, and then like I mentioned, we can go all the way to age 85. So. Social Security billing. So this is the one thing that we get asked about the most. So people who are drawing Social Security, they get their benefits at certain times of the month. And so the premiums can be withdrawn to align with that timing. Most of the time it's on like the third of the month. Sometimes it's like the second Wednesday. That they have all these, there's a chart that you guys have available to you that shows when Social Security benefits get paid out, and it's entirely dependent on the person's birthday as to when they get paid out. It affects what their payment dates are. But yeah, we generally match the premium withdrawal date to when the Social Security benefits are deposited, and they can either do it through their Direct Express debit MasterCard, which a lot of them have. Some of them don't always use that, but we can also draw directly from their bank on those same dates. I will send these out as well. So obviously the public website is the transamerica.com, and then any specific questions, brochures, marketing materials, like the e-delivery fire Social Security video, that's all going to be in that transamerica.com/insurance-central. You can find all the necessary resources there. And with that, I guess we can open it up to questions, and I can answer any questions that you might have.
Perfect. Thank you, Jason. A couple quick things, and there are a few questions. I just wanted to highlight a few things. Obviously, the rates that Jason showed y'all. If you haven't looked at Transamerica lately for your final expense solutions, now might be a good time, because as you saw from that comparative slide he showed, they're really competitive with especially the big hitters in the industry. They have that 10-pay solution, which is a little different. A lot of them have a pay for your life level or graded, but they don't offer that 10-pay solution. So keep that in mind. I had a few questions about the underwriting guidelines, and I can get with some of you more on an individual case basis. Either me or our team will get. But like you brought up, dialysis could be approved. One thing I want to say, folks, just because I don't. I've done this for a long time, is a carrier will accept those. Please don't just give them the business that has health conditions. If you're going to give them somebody on dialysis, please try and also give them pretty healthy clients as well. And the reason why is, as you see the rates on the screen now that Jason brought back up, we want these rates to stay ultra competitive for a long time. So the better business mix you can give, our friends at Transamerica, the better. So, we've got a few questions that have come in. John asked Jason if the end client has a website that they can actually go and look at their information, look at the policy, and if so, what portal is it? Because he said he knows there's a lot of different Transamerica sites that your company uses. So what portal is that?
So it'll be the transamerica.com, and after they receive a policy, they will get it's a link that should take them back to Transamerica, and they can set up an account. And it's very similar to what you guys would use for your agent portal, except you're an individual and not a financial professional. So like there's an actual individual account. A lot of people aren't really setting them up for final expense other than to check like their cash growth. We see more people actually set up the accounts on IUL type situations. Those clients were way more involved in the website side of things, but they do have an account that they can set up and go look at.
Okay, perfect. John, if you need more information, please type that in the question, or we can circle back on a one-on-one basis. We've got a question about, I believe it was in the delivery, but basically, as is common, right? Some of our agents work with clients who are older, they don't have email.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your options for a client that doesn't have email? I assume this is for either signing, e-signing, or a policy delivery.
Correct. And that unfortunately is just kind of an issue that we have right now. We do understand a lot of clients do not have emails. The only other option currently is to do a paper application, get wet signature, which you can do, via email. That's why we're trying to really get this new system online where they'll just be able to do text to sign. So all they have to do is confirm with a text message, which most seniors or older people do have. They at least have text message ability to do that. So that's kind of what we have right now. But they are cognizant of trying to find more and better ways to streamline that process for people that have that situation, for sure.
Okay. And Gio, one thing I've seen and we've seen is often, especially if you're working with older clients, their kids or grandkids have an email that they'll help either mom and dad or grandma and grandpa with, or sometimes they can even go to the library, create a email account for free and use that there. So just a couple different solutions for. We've got a question. So if there's a rate class change, right? If there's an amendment required, be with that, or how does that work? I mean, obviously you send the email as Transamerica saying, either good news, it was quoted standard, it's going to be preferred, or hey, we just want to let you know, unfortunately, this is going from preferred to standard, etc. But is there an amendment? What does the client and agent need to do to authorize that different classing for the final expense product?
So two things. One, they just need to verbally let new business know that, the client will accept the new rating. If there is a new payment form required, we will send that out via DocFast to be signed currently.
Okay. And how many health questions are there on the app?
15 total.
15, which is pretty normal.
That's medical and lifestyle. So drug use, driving, that's all in those questions. So it's 15 total.
Okay. There's a question about underwriting guidelines. Rhonda, let me know. He went through most of those questions, so please let us know if you still need those. And then, is this PowerPoint, Jason, something that you're able to share with us to get out to our agents, or if not,
I think it's mostly for internal use. Well, most of it's for agent use too. So I will get with Jeremiah. Jeremiah knows for sure, and he can definitely distribute it if it's available. I can tell you that the underwriting guide is just a PDF. It's a digital PDF that you can also use, and it goes into great detail about most of what we covered. It has case scenarios, but it also has like height weight guides. You can actually, it's the only one that we have this on, but there's actually rates that you can calculate. Like, so if you were out in the field and you didn't have computer access and you couldn't do a quote, and you can call in to the sales desk, we can help you. But if for whatever reason that wasn't available, you can actually manually figure out what the payments are, because there's a tabular rates in that underwriting guide as well. So I'll
Okay.
make sure
All right.
I
Perfect.
can put the link in the chat if you want.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. And folks, if he's able to share this presentation, we will send it in a follow-up email. But with that, just remember, as you see on the presentation, this is not for your clients. This is for you. So if you want to go back and look at anything, you want to talk to other licensed agents in your office about it, totally fine. But this presentation is not one to take to the end consumer that's not a licensed insurance agent and talk about Transamerica Portal expense. There's a question about this, whether it's GI or not. I think I can answer that pretty easily. GL, this is not a guarantee issue product. However, if you're looking for one, we at Western Marketing have some products for your clients that might need a guarantee issue product. With that said, though, as Jason showed and illustrated very well, this product does accept a lot of conditions that either would have been declined on some other carriers, or maybe it's standard with them and would have been graded with other carriers. So pretty liberal underwriting, which is good, but not a GI option at this time. James is asking the e-signature process. So James, that's an email back and forth. So you'll need to get an email address for your client, and they're working on a text signature, but that is not available yet. That's correct, right, Jason?
Correct. Yeah. So, here at Transamerica, we have 3 different channels, and this is the brokerage channel. It's being tested on our TAN channel, which is Transamerica Network Agents or captive agents. It'll start with them, I think, in March, and then once they know it's all good there, because it's our smallest channel, then they'll move it to brokerage.
Sure.
So the goal
Perfect.
is May, I think, right now is May.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. So short, but short timeline, a couple months, James, before we get, and for all of you, before we get other options, hopefully. Everybody, this was recorded, so you will have access to this. It'll be on our YouTube page. I believe in our follow-up email there will be a link to the recording. So this webinar is being recorded, and so if you need to go back, I know one of you lost a little internet connection during some of the underwriting things, which I think is, other than rate, is one of the big highlights of the Transamerica Final Expense. You'll have access to that. Jason, great question from Elmer, pardon me. What if somebody has like an ITIN number instead of a social? Do you guys take that, or do they have to have a social?
You can do an ITIN, and so this would carry to all products, whether it's term, IUL, final expense, or lifetime whole life. You can do an ITIN on a paper application. We can't do ITIN through the current iteration of iGo eApp, just because it's built by iPipeline, and Pipeline just hasn't given us that option to where you can input an ITIN number. So because you can't do it, it won't accept the eApp process, but you can submit through a paper application.
Okay. So Elmer, there is absolutely an option for an ITIN number. Just make sure it's on a paper app. And everybody, Ed asked a question about the underwriting guide link, so I copied and pasted that into the questions in the answer and shared it for everybody, so you have that. It looks like the last question we have is from Walter. Do you have any client-approved facing presentation material, meaning other than like a brochure, anything for sales for a client that they can use?
We have different flyers and everything. Let me see what we have here. So yeah, we have consumer brochures.
Okay.
And a popular one that we get asked a lot about is we have what's called a My Last Will worksheet. And so
Hmm.
it's a worksheet that you can sit down with the client and kind of talk about, like, what are their end of life expenses. So like to see if they have
Hmm.
enough coverage, and it's like a checklist of things, and we have a lot of agents use that. I can also put that in the chat. Um, we do have a final expense
Okay.
consumer video
Okay.
that
Why don't we
I
do
can
this,
send.
Jason? Will you send that to me after the webinar? And what we'll
Sure.
do, instead of putting a bunch of different links
Yeah.
in the chat, we'll get these out to everybody in a follow-up email.
Yep. That sounds
That'll,
good.
and Mitchell, you were asking about paper apps and rates. Definitely, probably the easiest thing for that is to reach out to our team here at Western Marketing. With that, and honestly, y'all, if you aren't yet appointed with Transamerica, and after this presentation you realize you might be missing the boat, and want to get appointed, anything like that, questions, product support, anything you still have questions on once we end this webinar, our life and annuity team can help you. So all you would do is dial 1-800-852-7152. Again, that's 1-800-852-7152, which, by the way, is our normal number. And just ask to speak to somebody from the life and annuity team on Transamerica Final Expense. We'll share whatever you need. We'll get you your questions answered. We'll get you contracted with our friends at Transamerica to sell the Final Expense product or any of their really good products out there. So it looks like that's through the end of the webinar. As far as questions, Jason, thank you to you, Jeremiah, and the whole team over there. You're great partners for us. So we really appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody being on the webinar. Again, I know when you're listening to us talk about product and process, you aren't out with appointments, you aren't putting food on the table for yourself and your family. So that's not lost on us. So do really appreciate that. And with that, everybody, make it a great day. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.